Hello and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and today we'll be unboxing a box of 10 Pokemon cards I sent to PSA over a year ago. Just got them back. They packaged them in this nice little box, nice and safe and sound, so they get to you without any damage. Let's get them out of the box and see what grades we got. We're looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil First Edition Aerodactyl, a Holo, the number 1 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that the graphics look really good. The Holo looks nice in the light. The rest of our surface looks really clean. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom, and left to right, it is definitely towards the left. Looking at our edges and our corners, the only damage I can see is there's some slight silvering, as they call it, on the upper edge. As we turn the card over and look at the back of the card, you can see that the surface is really clean. I don't see any issues or damage. Looking at our centering from left to right is definitely quite a bit to the right, and looking from top to bottom, I think that might be within spec. Looking at our corners and our edges, all 4 corners have slight bending right on the edge of the corner, and our upper right corner has some slight edge down. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 7. Wow, I thought I'd get a better one than that, but let us look at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Articuno, a Holo First Edition, the number 2 card. Looking at the front of this card, the surface is pretty clean. I don't see any dirt or grime. Looking at our holographics, it looks pretty good, except there's some scratches to the right of Articuno, just under the wing. And our corners and our edges, though, look pretty good. And our centering from top to bottom looks pretty good. I think is within spec, but from left to right, it is a little bit towards the right. As we turn to the back of the card, you can see that the surface and graphics look really good. I don't see any problems there. Looking at our edges and our corners, there's quite a bit of damage on both right corners and the slight damage on the upper left corner. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's a little towards the top, and left to right, I think it's a little towards the left. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 7. That's better than I thought I'd get. Wow. Check out this 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Ditto, a holographic first edition card, the number 3 of the set. Looking at the front surface of this card, you can see it's really clean. I don't see any dirt or grime. Looking at our holographics, it's pretty clean, except there's a small scratch on the lower right corner of the frame. Looking at our corners and our edges, they look pretty good, except the upper right corner looks like it has a little bit of damage on the upper edge of it. Looking at our centering from side to side, I think it's a little towards the left, and from top to bottom, our centering looks a little towards the bottom. Flipping the card over, you can see that the centering is way off towards the bottom, from top to bottom, and from left to right, it's a little towards the right. Looking at our graphics and our surface, I don't see any issues on those. Looking at our edges and our corners, the only thing I see there is there's some slight damage on the lower right corner. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 8. I'll take it. I think I like it. Woo! This is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Dragonite, the Holo First Edition card, the number 4. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that it looks really good in the light. The graphics are nice. I don't see any problems, scratches, dirt, or anything like that. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, it's towards the top, and from left to right, I think that looks pretty good. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're really clean. I don't see any damage. Looking to the back of the card, you can see that the surface is really clean. I don't see any dirt, bends, or scratches. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, it's towards the top, and from left to right, I think it's towards the right. Looking at our corners and our edges, the 2 upper corners look cut a little funky, but there's some damage to both right corners, and I think that'll affect the grade. And that's going to give us a grade on Dragonite of near mint 8. That's not too bad. Say hi to a 1999 Pokemon Fossil set Gengar, a Holo First Edition card, the number 5 card of the set. As you look at this card, you can see that the graphics look really good. The holographics are shining in the light. Our surface is clean. Looking at our centering from side to side, I think they're pretty good. Looking from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the bottom, but our corners and our edges, I think, look really good. Flipping the card over and looking at the back surface, it is really clean with no bends, dirt, grime, or anything like that. Looking at our centering from left to right, it's slightly towards the right, and from top to bottom, it's quite a bit towards the bottom. I'm sure taking us out of the 10 spec. Looking at our corners and our edges, I see some damage on the lower right corner. And that's going to give us a grade of 9 for Gengar. Man, I like it. I like it like that. This is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Haunter, a Holo First Edition card, the number 6 of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that it's really clean. The holographics look really nice. I don't see any damage or dirt. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think that's pretty good. And from left to right, I think it's not too shabby either. And looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're within spec and nice and clean. Looking at the back of the card, you can see that our surface and graphics are clean with no dirt or damage. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think that's pretty close to spec, but left to right is definitely out of spec to the right. And looking at our corners and our edges, they actually look really good. I don't think there might be some damage on the lower right corner. That's going to give us a grade of 9. I'll take it. I like 9s. Wow. We have a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Hitmonlee, a Holo First Edition card, the number 7 of the set. Looking at the front of this card, you can see that the graphics are shining nice in the light. The Holo looks really good. The rest of the surface of the card is nice and clean. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think that's really good, probably within spec from side to side. Look at it. It might be out of spec to the right or really close to spec to the right, but I think it's really close to being within tolerance, and our corners and our edges show no damage. Looking to the back of the card, you can see that the surface is really clean. There's no problems with the graphics. They're nice and crisp. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's out of spec, the 10 spec to the bottom. Our side to side centering looks pretty good. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're really clean. I didn't see any damage. And Hitmonlee is going to get a grade of 9. I'll take it. I bet you it was the centering that took us out. I'm looking at a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Hypno, a Holo First Edition, the number 8 card. Looking at the front of this card, you can see it looks really clean. There's no problems with the holographics. Our centering from top to bottom is slightly towards the top, and from left to right, it's a little bit towards the left. Our edges and our corners are nice and clean with no damage. And looking at the back of our card, the centering issues continue back here. Side to side is towards the right, and from top to bottom is towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're really clean. I don't see any damage on them, and there's no damage to the surface or the graphics of this card. And that's going to give us a grade of 9. I like it. I like it a lot. This is a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Kabutops, a Holo First Edition, the number 9 card. As you see, the front of this card looks really good. I don't see any problems with the holographics. They're shining bright in the light. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's towards the left a little bit, and from top to bottom, I think it's towards the top. Excuse me. And finally, our edges and our corners are nice and clean. Looking to the back of the card, you can see that we have a centering problem from left to right. It's quite a bit to the left, to the right. And from top to bottom, it looks pretty good. Our edges and our corners look pretty good, except there's slight damage on the lower right corner. And our surface and our graphics are nice and clean though. And that's going to give us a grade of near mint 8. Not too shabby. Hey, look, it's a 1999 Pokemon Fossil Set Lapras, a Holo First Edition, the number 10 card. As we take a look at this card, you can see the surface looks really clean, and as we look at the holographics, it looks pretty good, except there's some minor abrasions or slight scratches just on the right side of the holographics on the flipper. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I'd say it's slightly towards the left and possibly towards the top. And looking at our corners and our edges, they look really nice. As we look to the back of the card, you can see our surface and graphics are nice and clean. There's no issues on them. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think it's better than on the front and looks pretty close to tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, there's some slight damage on the right edge about center and on that lower right corner. And we'll receive a grade of near mint 8. That's pretty good. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and remember, always remember, you got to catch them all. Have a great day.